Okay, hello dear students. Welcome back once again. So today I will be continuing my classes for class 8, and the chapter that I will be doing today is Asia. So we'll go to the physical features of Asia. So before we go to the major physical features, let us have a small introduction about the continent. So we know that Asia basically is a continent of contrast and also a continent of civilization. The reason why it's called as a continent of contrast is because of many aspects which I'll be just doing in the later course of this class. And then as well as it is a continent of civilization, because if you see the major civilizations of the world, like the Indus Valley civilization, the Mesopotamian civilization, and also the Chinese civilizations originated or started in Asia. If you see the religions as well, the major religions of the world as well also was born in Asia. They originated in Asia. They were started from Asia, the major religions. See? That is why Asia is called as a continent of contrast. It's called as a continent of civilization. It's also called as a continent of diverse religions, different religions as well. See? Now, a little bit more further we go. Now, if you see the location of Asia, where is it located exactly? It is located, if you see, 10 degrees south to 80 degrees north latitude. That is the latitudinal extent of Asia. 10 degrees south to 80 degrees north latitude. And then longitudinally, if you see, it is located 25 degrees east to 170 or 171 degrees west. We'll just have a look at here. See here? This is the extent of Asia. See, 10 degrees below the equator. It goes right up to 81 degrees or 80 degrees north. And then 25 or 26 degrees east to 25 degrees east to 170 degrees west. So that is the extent of Asia you see. Now, before we go to the physical divisions, why is Asia called as a continent of contrast? Let us look into this aspect. Now, we know that Asia is a huge continent. It is the largest continent. See, in terms of the area, in terms of population. If you see, 60% of the world's population is found in Asia. And it occupies an area of almost 44.4 million square kilometers. That is the area of Asia. The population, almost 60% of the world's population is found in Asia. And then 44.4 million square kilometers is the size of Asia. Asia is very large, very large. See, some parts of Asia also goes into Europe. And therefore this landmass is called as Eurasia. See, Asia and Europe together form the continuous landmass called Eurasia. See, some parts of Asia goes into some parts of Asia. Some parts of Asia goes into Europe, whereby it's called as Eurasia. Okay, now let's see the reason why it's called as the continent of contrast. See, if you see, it has the highest mountain peak in the world, that is Mount Everest, which is almost 8,848 meters above the sea level. Similarly, it has the lowest place on the earth, the Dead Sea, which is almost 400 meters below the sea level. See? It has the coldest place in the world, Verkhoyansk, which has a temperature of almost minus 170 degrees. It also has the hottest place in the world, that is in Asia, Jacobabad in Pakistan, which has an average temperature of almost 50 degrees centigrade. See? It has the world's largest plateau, highest Plateau of Tibet. It has the largest sea. If you see the largest lake, Caspian Sea, is also found in Asia. If you see the deepest lake, deepest freshwater lake, Lake Baikal, is also found in Asia. The largest delta, Ganga and the Brahmaputra delta, is also found in Asia. And the rainiest lakes, Mausiram and Cherrapunji in Meghalaya, which has a rainfall of almost 1,250 centimeters of rainfall in a year, is also found in Asia. Because of all these characteristics, which are so very unique in comparison with the other continents of the world, we say that Asia is a continent of contrast. Okay, now we go a little bit further and let's see the physical division. What are the physical divisions of Asia? See, we see the first one, the physical division is the northern lowlands. The second one we have is the central highlands. The third one we have is the southern plateaus. The fourth one, great river valleys. And fifth one we have is the island groups. So these are the major physical features or physical divisions that we will be studying one by one. So let's see the first one here. Now, the northern lowlands. Now, where is this northern lowlands located? This northern lowlands is located in the northern part of Asia. See this part, near the Arctic Ocean. It's located here, this northern part. It is a plain area which is called as the Siberian Plain. And we have very important rivers flowing down. That is River Yangtze, River Ob, and River Lena. They flow down into the Arctic Ocean. And as I told you, where we have the Siberian Plain being formed, the river flows through that area. And especially during winter time, what happens? The rivers are frozen, the sea is frozen. But when the spring comes, the river starts to melt. Because they are slightly in the lower latitudes, they are slightly warmer. So the river starts to melt, and these rivers start to flow down, taking waters. And as the rivers go down, I would like to show you a little bit more here. So, as I was saying, see, what happens? See, this is the area where we are talking about, the northern lowlands. And then, what happens when the river starts to flow down? The river Lena, the river Ob in Yangtze, in the springtime when the rivers melt, the water starts to flow down. And when the waters flow down, they move towards the Arctic Ocean. And at that time, the Arctic Ocean is still frozen with water, frozen with ice. And when they are frozen with ice, the water which goes down to the Arctic Ocean doesn't enter into the sea, but rather remains in the coastal areas, creating floods and rather swamps. So that is what happens in the springtime when the water flows down into the Arctic Ocean and the Arctic Ocean is still frozen with ice, and at that time the water does not enter into the ocean but rather collects in the coastal areas, whereby creating floods and swampy areas. So that is the Siberian Plain that is formed here in the northern lowlands. Then we also have the Turran Plane, which is found in the southern part of the Siberian Plain, surrounding the aerial sea. Surrounding the aerial sea, we have the Turran Plane. And this Turran Plane is mainly drained there by the Amur diarrhea and the Sayat diarrhea. These two are the rivers which play a very important role in this plain. Okay, that is the Turran Plane. We have the two rivers there, Amur diarrhea and Sayat diarrhea, which drain into the aerial sea. That is the northern lowlands. Now the next one we have is the Central Highlands. Now what are the Central Highlands? When we talk about Central Highlands, we are talking about the areas where we have the highest mountains. in Asia, the highest mountains. These are the area we're talking about, the Central Highlands. See, these areas. This is the Central Highlands. Now the Central Highlands are formed of two branches. In the center we have a very high point called as the Pamir Knot. From this Pamir Knot, mountains project towards the eastern side as well as towards the western side. See? Mountains project towards the eastern side as well as the western side. See? Here we have the Pamir Knot. This area, we have the Pamir Knot. Now from this Pamir Knot, we have mountains going towards the western side. So which are the mountains? First we have the Hindu Kush. The Hindu Kush comes down. This in turn becomes the Elburz mountain range. Elburz mountains, the Hindu Kush. This becomes the Elburz mountain range. And this Elburz mountain range further goes and becomes the Pontic mountain. Pontic mountain. Then below that we have the next range that is called as the Suleiman range. And this Suleiman range turns out to be the Kirthar range. And this Kirthar range turns out to be the continues further as the Zagros. Zagros. Okay, Zagros. And this Zagros goes on further as the Armenian Knot. And from there we have the Taurus range. Pontic and Taurus range. So these are the mountain ranges that are there in the western side. See? From here we have the Hindu Kush. The Hindu Kush further goes and continues as Elburz. Further they meet at the Armenian Knot, and from the Armenian Knot they go further westwards as the Pontic mountain range. Pontic range. If you see the southern part a little bit lower part, we have another range going to the western side called as the Suleiman range. This Suleiman range becomes the Kirthar range, and this Kirthar range further goes and becomes Zagros, and then becomes the Armenian Knot, and ultimately it becomes the Taurus mountain range. Now, in between the Elburz and the Zagros, we have a plateau. That is the Plateau of Iran, which is also called as an intermontane plateau because it's surrounded by the mountains, Elburz and Zagros. Then we also have the Plateau of Anatolia. Plateau of Anatolia, which is between the Pontic and the Taurus range. Pontic and the Taurus range here. Plateau of Anatolia. So this is the mountain range that moves towards the western side. Then we also have mountains which move to the eastern side. Like the first one we have is the Himalayas. See, this Himalayas go down, it goes further down into here. Arakan Yoma and Pegu Yoma. So this is the Himalayas. See, the Himalayan mountain range where we have the Mount Everest and so. This is there, which is almost 8,848 meters high, Mount Everest. Then we also have the Karakoram range. See, Karakoram range. Karakoram range is there. Then we have the Kunlun mountains. See, Kunlun mountains. Then we have the Taishan. Taishan is also there. Then we have the Nanshan. See, Taishan is there. Then we have the Nanshan. These are the important mountains that are there in the eastern side. See, on this Pamir Knot, eastwards if you go, we have the Himalayas, which further goes into Myanmar and further down into this sea, Indonesian Sea, as the Arakan Yoma and Pegu Yoma. And then above the Himalayas we have the Arakan Yoma, which is also called as the which is called as the Karakoram range. Karakoram range. K2 is also the name where we have the Mount Goodwin Austin, Karakoram range K2. Then we also have the Kunlun mountain range, the Taishan, and so on. So these are the mountain ranges that move towards the eastern side. Between the Kunlun and the Himalayas, we have the Plateau of Tibet. Plateau of Tibet is there. See, which is also an intermontane plateau. Why is it called as an intermontane plateau? Because it is surrounded by mountains on both the sides. An intermontane plateau is a plateau which is surrounded by mountains on two sides or more, three sides or more. So that is called as an intermontane plateau. So this is the Central Highlands. Now let's see the further. See next one. The southern plateaus. Southern plateaus. Which are the southern plateaus? Southern plateaus. See, we have three important plateaus here. See? The first one we have is the Plateau of Arabia. East coast of Red Sea. We have the Plateau of Arabia and it slopes towards the Persian Gulf. Plateau of Arabia. Then we have the second one, the Peninsular Plateau of India. See the plateau of Peninsular India, Deccan Plateau, which is bordered between the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. This also slopes slightly towards the Bay of Bengal, and some important rivers also flow there. See, Godavari, Narmada, and so on flow in this plateau. And then we have the third plateau, that is the Plateau of Shan in Myanmar, and the Plateau of Shan in Myanmar, and the Plateau of Yunnan in China. See, Plateau of Shan and Yunnan. These are the two important plateaus that are there in Asia. Plateau of Shan in Myanmar and the Plateau of Yunnan in China. So these are the important plateaus. Plateau of Arabia, the Deccan Plateau, and the Plateau of Shan and Yunnan in Myanmar and on China. Okay, so that is the southern plateaus. The little bit more we go, the great river valleys. The great river valleys. Which are the great river valleys? See, that means the main rivers of Asia. Like we have the main rivers like the Indus Valley, which was created by the river Indus, where we have the 5 major rivers in the Indus. River Chenab, Beas, Ravis. See, Chenab, Beas, Sutlej, Ravi and Jhelum. These are the important rivers that are there in the river Indus, which has played a very important role. Major part of this is in Pakistan. Then we also have the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, see, valley, created by the river Ganga and Brahmaputra. Then we have the Great Plain of China. Great Plain of China formed by 3 large rivers like the Wangho, Yangtze and Sikkim. Then we also have Irrawaddy and Salween Valley in Myanmar, Mekong Valley in Indochina, and Amur Valley, which is also an important river valley of Asia. So these are the important river valleys that we have. And then we move to the last one, that is the island groups, which are like island groups. So there are so many islands in Asia, you see. So many islands are there. See, for instance, Bahrain, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, see, Philippines. Then we also have Taiwan, Japan. See, these are the islands there, which are there in Asia. And we also have a huge groups of islands which are called as archipelago. And the largest group of islands in Asia which is there is the Indonesian island. The Indonesian island is the largest archipelago in the world. That means it has the largest number of islands in the world. Okay. Now we go further ahead. Let's see a little bit further ahead. We go and see the climatic conditions of Asia. What is the climatic conditions of Asia, or what are the factors which affect the climate of Asia? The first factor we have is the latitudinal extent. The latitudinal extent. If you see the 3 major heat zones, the torrid zone, the temperate zone, and the frigid zone are found in Asia, because Asia extends from 10 degrees south till 80 degrees north. So we have the hottest zone as well as the coldest zone. So you can see, it has a diverse climatic condition. From the hottest to the coldest weather conditions are experienced in Asia is because of the latitudes. The lower the latitude, the warmer, the higher the latitude, the colder it gets. So that is how the latitudinal extent plays a very important role. If it's near the equator, it's very hot. But as you go away from the equator towards the North Pole, Arctic Ocean, it's very cold. So all the 3 major heat zones passes through Asia, because of which they experience a diverse climatic condition. Second one is distance from the sea. Those places which are near the sea are very warm, have a moderate temperature, but then there are places which are very far from the sea, which are very cold or very hot, like the deserts, because they are very far from the sea. Distance from the sea is also another factor which affects the climate of Asia. Then relief, if you see the mountain ranges, like if you see the Himalayas have played a very important role. Most of the Himalayas in Asia run from east to west, or west to east, because of which we experience plenty of rainfall. If the Himalayas was not there, we wouldn't have this much amount of rainfall. So relief also plays a very important role in the climate of Asia. And then if you see the winds, winds is also another very important factor which has influenced the climate of Asia. And which are the winds? The monsoon winds, for instance. If the monsoon winds doesn't blow, they will not bring us rainfall in the Asian subcontinent. We'll have no rainfall at all if the monsoon winds does not blow. It is these monsoon winds which bring plenty of rainfall. See? That is why the winds play a very important role as well. And then the ocean currents. The ocean currents also plays an important role. See? It can increase the temperature of the place where the water flows by, and it also decreases the temperature along the places wherever it flows. So if it's a warm ocean current, the temperature of the areas where it passes by becomes slightly warm. If it's a cold ocean current, the places where the cold ocean current passes by becomes cold. And the places where the warm and cold ocean currents come and meet, they create a very dense fog, whereby it creates a very ideal conditions for fishes to thrive. And therefore, they are the major fishing zones of the world. So that is the different factors which affect the climate of Asia.